Hello and welcome to my 2022 Christmas New Year message on this, the last day of 2022 and the seventh day of the 12 days of Christmas. This recording is made on the unceded sovereign lands of the Yagara and Turrbal peoples of Meanjin, Brisbane. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that some of the images used in this recording are of people who have passed away in the last 12 months. They are published and shared with deep respect. So welcome. This is my 70th Christmas. What an achievement. And with COVID and so many other things happening, there's much to reflect on. I've put together a pictorial album of images, and this video is really an introduction, an invitation to you to have a look at the gallery, make some comments, and engage with the images. So let's launch into the memories and the journey of the last 12 months also. I'd like to begin by sharing with you one of the nativity images that I've been using across my social media platform in the recent week or so. This is The Way to Bethlehem by Palestinian artist Slimane Mansour. This image reminds us that the Christmas language of peace and goodwill is more than a religious sentiment. It is, in fact, an invitation to political action on behalf of those who are abused, on behalf of those who experience violence, persecution, loss of land and territory. And I invite you to perhaps share Christmas images that have been part of your journey during these 12 days as you prepare for Christmas and have celebrated Christmas and the other celebrations that people have at this time of the year. Having celebrated 70 Christmases and in my 70th year, at this stage when you and I look back and reflect, one of the first things I reflect on are those who have passed away in the previous 12 months. In my own life, I've lost a couple of family members from my father's generation, Frank, one of his brothers-in-law, and in my own generation, a younger cousin, Mick. I've also lost work colleagues that have been important in my life from my work in university, community sector, in my work in advocacy for LGBTIQ people. And as you look around these images, some of them are also people with whom I have journeyed as a community worker, social worker in the streets and community settings here in Brisbane, as well as those I've known personally. Like you, I'm also touched by mentors who have inspired because of their music, art, and contribution to culture. So I've included some of those images in the gallery, and there's a little reflection on each of those people and how they've been important and significant in my life and why their memory is an important part of my journey. One of the highlights in the latter half of the year, after the isolation of COVID, was the experience of traveling again. I missed a couple of conferences because they were cancelled because of COVID. But in the last part of this year, I have made 2 trips. I went to Townsville for the National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Catholic Council Assembly, where I caught up with many friends and was able to engage in photography of the event, which has been something I've been passionate about for many years for this community. And after that, I also had a trip to Sydney with the Lash community, where we share life with people who have a lived experience of intellectual disability. And this was a gathering where we supported people to participate in conversations and decision making. So that was a really exciting adventure. It was wonderful again to be able to travel and meet together. The biggest adventure of the year for Vicky, my housemate, and my brother from another mother, our biggest adventure was that we got caught in the rental experience crisis upheaval that you probably know about if you have not experienced it yourself. We had been living for 5 or so years in this beautiful 3-bedroom spacious townhouse. It went on the market and we went rental hunting. So for the first time, literally the first time in my life as a tenant, I found myself standing in queues looking at rental properties where I was often the oldest person in the queue and also somewhat out of running as someone who no longer had a full-time income. But we were able to get a lease on student accommodation, which has been quite exciting, moving into a village community of international students. We do have an option, hopefully, to return to the block of units where we were living. There's been a short-term lease that was signed as we left, and the property manager indicated we may be able to return in February. But again, that's dependent on the rentals. As many of you would know, rental has gone through the roof, and there are economics to consider as well as just the availability. Big learnings in this experience, learning to live with less. Lots of furniture has gone into storage. Lots of stuff has gone out to friends to care for and to keep. And so learning minimalist lifestyle has been part of this experience. So that's not a bad thing. It's been really important as well. Through the year, I've continued my participation in community action for peace, justice, and participation in my local community. Some of it hasn't been as strong as I would have liked. My legs no longer go where they used to go. I've slowed down because of different health conditions that have sort of invaded my body. I have behavioural management issues with some of my personal organs now, and no longer find myself able to do things like the Labor Day March. But thanks to social media and public transport, I've been able to get along to a number of political and social actions that are an important part of my participation in the local community. And the album that I'll share with you has quite a comprehensive coverage of my participation in these activities. The other big thing for the year is I've always had a commitment to lifelong learning. One of the online programs I participated in was the certificate of recognition as an animator for the Laudato Si movement. This is part of my participation in Pope Francis's passion for recognition of our relationship with all creation. So this program of animators is a training program that really opened up the awareness of our relationship with all life and also our commitment to respecting the earth and all creatures. So I've been involved in a number of international learnings, also awareness of our political commitment to living with integrity rather than exploitation. That continues to be a really significant movement for me. I also joined the University of the Third Age and have enrolled for a couple of courses next year that I'm really looking forward to. Part of moving into another neighbourhood, I joined the Mount Cravat Bowls Club and also the local Southern Cross Sports Club. But what I found amazing, as you see with the Mount Cravat Bowls Club, I was able to purchase lifetime membership for $10. And you get a little card that tells you your social membership does not expire until June 2073. I will be 120 years old by the time I need to renew my membership. So the challenge is, if I cark it before that, who do I leave this membership to in my will? So big decisions to be made as a plan ahead for the future. So I'll invite you to go to the gallery and have a look through the images that all have comments and little reflections of the year. But at this stage, as we move into a new year, I'd like to leave you with this blessing reflection from one of my favourite writers, John O'Donoghue. As this year draws to its end, we give thanks for the gifts it brought, and how they became inlaid within, where neither time nor tide can touch them. Days when beloved faces shone brighter with light from beyond themselves, and from the granite of some secret sorrow a stream of buried tears loosened. We bless this year for all we learned, for all we loved and lost, and for the quiet way it brought us nearer to our invisible destination. So thank you for coming on this journey with me. I invite you to look at the album. I've put a link in the descriptor of this video. I wish you, your friends, your family, all those you meet, every blessing and happiness as we move into a new year in 2023.